Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the stream. My name is Ace. I'm a hobbyist. We are working on 3D meshes to use as reference for a webcomic project that I'm working on. I'm having quite a bit of fun learning this stuff. I want to show you some progress that I have made on my first sculpt. We're currently on our second, and it's just a little bit tedious. I would say it's very copy and paste heavy, but I was able to get some progress on my other mesh yesterday evening, and this is what we have so far. Okay, what I did was we've created the normal maps for our character here. And I figured out how to do that. Let's see, we have hey, wait a minute, where's the other okay, I don't know. Anyway, we have the normal maps here. I guess it doesn't stay in this little area here, but there's the normal maps, and we are working on the clothing. I'm doing on the I'm adding more details to the clothing. I've weaved up the polygons with multi-res, and as you can see, there's a lot more detail in the skin now. We got some pores done here. We have some some neck wrinkles. I'm not sure if I did that correctly, but it's finalized. At least the normal maps are. We're going to make a. This is still the test texture. We will be making a finalized texture, but we added some more detail. We got some subspace scattering going on, so it's pretty exciting. Seeing getting closer and closer to being done with this guy here. First character that appears in the comic. I changed the light source to be over here. So I think yesterday we had it like somewhere over here, and it kind of didn't match the lights that I set up. So what I did was I put this light source behind him a little bit to try to match it up a little bit more. We don't have textures for the clothes yet, but we're gonna get there. That's gonna be the next thing. And I still have this little thing here, this little mistake. I don't know. I don't know how to remove this. We're working hard to figure that out. Okay. But yeah, this is the render that we have so far. It's coming along. Hopefully we'll get our next mesh this far, but we have to get through retropology first. All right, so that's where we're at. So now we have to go back here. Oh, I hit load, didn't I? Okay, okay. I just wanted to make sure there was no extra window hiding somewhere. Okay, and this is where we're at now. All right, we did the head yesterday. We finished the head. What we're going to be doing next is getting together the edge loops. We need to put edge loops here, here, and here. Also here, where the arm bends, and around the wrist. And then around the thumbs and the hands. That's what we're going to do next, okay? I need to figure out exactly the size of the polygons that we need to use to put down there. I think we can use this one. Also, I think they're a little, let's get right into some corrections here. I didn't really notice, I didn't see that these were, different sizes in the front and the back. You're not really, I mean, I don't know, that's not really great retopology, but we can adjust them just a little bit. It's just these three or these two in the front, and then this one. that's that's really it. Let's see, one, two, three. Yeah, I don't know. I actually don't know because if I split them in half, Then we're going to have really small ones going all the way up to the side of his head, and it's going to stop right there. I don't want to spend too much time on that. I'll that's another thing that we'll check out. So we have this kind of an anomaly here, this, and then still this little square down here, and then these two up front. We're gonna figure out how to fix all of that in the future. You know, get a solid method of having even squares all over the body. There's so many squares to manage. It's kind of hard to plan that out. I don't understand. I don't know how I could plan that out. Oh, you know what? We have to do the ear too. Almost forgot. So we're not gonna do the edge just yet. We're gonna go ahead and finish these ears. All right. So basically, you know, when it comes to forms like the ears, you know, and just other very detailed areas, it's better to just take the polygons and just follow the form. Everything that you sculpt, just follow that, and you won't lose any of those details in the future when you're baking and doing the multi-res, things like that. And I'm going to try to make these squares the same size as the ear for starters. I'm going to go along I guess, what is this, the helix? I do believe that's called the helix. We're just going to go along and follow the forms of every part of the ear here, just so we keep those details. That'll help us keep everything together, no matter what. I'm sorry. No matter at what resolution or how many polygons you have, we'll still have an ear that's shaped like an ear. It'll just be a very simple ear, which is fine. Kind of like this nose here. It's like a more simpler version of what we already have, and that'll help with the baking. At least that's my understanding of it. I don't know. I'm not an expert. Oh, that's a mistake. We got a mistake already. All right, well, no problem. Let's get rid of that. All right, so we're just gonna go along here, and I can't really see what's going on. I'm gonna turn off in front. I know that it's still selected because I could barely see it. It's snapped into our high poly mesh. Uh-oh, we got another mistake. Okay, we're gonna slow it all the way down. All right, we're not gonna rush this. We're just gonna go around the back of the ear. And then from there, we can connect this part down and into the head. And we should be, oh, you know what? You know what I should do? Is we're going to match these with the head so that way we can connect them easier. I think that would be a much better idea than what we're doing now, which is basically just wonton copying and pasting. We don't want to fall into that trap again. It's easy because this is very, you know, it's a very sequential process, you know. Oops, what am I doing? No, dissolve, not we're not gonna add anything here. Okay. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to match these up. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're so far so good. We're doing it. What is that? Why? Somebody tell me why. Okay. Let's see. Okay, we're gonna just continue matching up. Oh my gosh. Why? You know, I know why, because the moment that you can't see it clearly, like if it wraps behind, it just starts, I don't know, snapping randomly into places you don't want it to snap. So you kind of have to keep everything in view. So I'm just gonna line the lines up here. Went a little too far right there. What in the world? I guess it was out of view. Once it goes behind the ear, that's technically out of view. Even though it's snapped in front. I don't know. It's just all right. We're gonna back up some. We screwed up. We're gonna back up a little bit. Okay. Well, gee, no, no. I'm gonna rotate it. Yeah, 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 yeah. All right. So we got to take the face and delete the face. Okay, I'm trying not to lose track here of what I'm doing. All right, one, two, three. Okay, that's close enough, right? Now we just got to make it around the back of the ear. That's all we have to do. For some reason, that's proving difficult as time goes on. All right, so we'll get it on, and then we'll adjust it. So we got one, two, three, four. Let's see. All right, and make sure you follow that ear. 5, 6. I think that's a similar width. Rotate it some, just so it kind of lines up, or at least it has a better shot at lining up with that line. It's kind of hard to see from this angle, and we can't see the ear. Hang on. That was a little loud. I can hear it. Let me move this. Okay. So let me do that. Okay. Here we are. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 4, and then 5, 6. No, 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 no. Let me take this off. I need to figure out where I'm at. Okay, see, that's where I went. That's where I went wrong. His leg, or sorry, his ear curves this way and then back in, and we went straight back, which put it in the front, and that kind of deformed it because I guess that angle we weren't really looking in, so it got a little weird. All right, so we got this. We still got that. We still got that. So we're just trying to line these up with this. Okay. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now let's go down. Rotate this so it's a little more straight. All right, so we got this, and then we got this. I think these should line up okay. Looking, we got plenty of real estate on the back of the ear, so. It's crazy that I have to obscure my vision of this stuff in order to be more accurate. Well, it's not that crazy, I'm sure that there's something that we can do to make this easier. I just don't know how. Unfortunately, I'm still learning Blender. I don't know everything. There's a lot that I don't. I'm not even going to say everything. There's a lot that I don't know about Blender, but we're going to try to learn it. I'm having a blast doing this. This is very very interesting. Sculpting people. We're gonna eventually sculpt more than just people. But I figured that would be probably the most challenging thing because you have to. I mean, of course, you have to follow every form and shape of whatever you're sculpting. But it always seemed to me that people would be the most challenging, so I wanted to do that first. I didn't want to start with a donut. I figured that I would be able to do that. So I wanted to start with something that not only that I was interested in doing, but it was also something that I felt would be a challenge. But it wasn't so bad, you know. Okay, we have that, but then we have this. All right, so we need to take this face and delete it. So I messed up there. I can't see anything, so I'm gonna turn my ear back on. I need to make a little square just for that little point there. We're going to connect right there. We're going to connect right in that spot right there. Bring it over and let's see. All right. I think we can, well, this is where we're going to need to look and see what we are doing. Okay, there we go. It's a little better. I think it's a little twisted. It's a little twisted. We don't want to make it too messed up. Hey, welcome 99. Good morning. We are continuing our retopology. I don't know how long I'm gonna go today because I woke up with a headache and I don't know why. I went to sleep with a headache. I took a pill and I woke up with a headache. I didn't get a notice you went live. Twitch does that, you know. I don't get notices either unless I'm acting. If I'm actively watching Twitch and I'm watching someone, that's the only time I see a notification. I don't get it. I don't get anything from Discord. I don't get anything from Twitch. I'm just going to assume that it's Twitch's fault. Okay, I didn't do anything. I don't change any settings or anything. Okay, it's just that's how I missed your stream. I was like, why didn't they notify me? I had it on. I had Twitch on. It didn't even notify me. It didn't even notify me that time. Shoot, I'm pretty sure if I wasn't streaming, I'd miss my own stream. That doesn't make any sense. Anyways, all right. We're just lining everything up with these squares, so we'll have an easier time getting them to connect. All right. So far, that's been working out for us. All right. It's not as willy nilly as the last mesh, which is coming along fine, by the way. Yeah, I showed a little bit of that at the beginning of the stream of the progress. We got subsurface scattering. We have normal maps. We have the skin details baked onto a very low poly. It's great. We don't even need a multi-resolution modifier anymore, which is we are not at that part on here yet, but we're working on the clothes. We're going to add some wrinkles and whatnot. I really thought the point of notifications is to be notified when someone you went to watch goes live, but I must be mistaken. It's got to do something else. Yeah, it's more for Twitch than it is for the viewer, I guess, and the streamer. You know, they got their ads, so it's like, what do they care? They got their 9 ads that they put. Well, not on this channel because you know we're not there. We're not at that point. But um, yeah, people were just like, hey, look, the ads aren't my fault. I don't know. I don't know how that stuff works, but apparently they could just do whatever. They could just run whatever ads they want, no matter what setting you got. So it doesn't really. I don't know. I have no idea how it works, but apparently that's what people were saying. So, well. All right, so you know what? We're gonna finish the back of the ear right now because we have enough to line up here. We should take about 3 or 4 more squares, and then let's see if we can just go ahead and just connect these right now. Now we don't want to do it like that because that will stretch over, which is what is essentially the back of the ear. Well, no, actually, I think that's fine. Let's see. No, we can't do it that way. All right, hold on. I'm gonna cut that triangle in half, but I don't know how I can do that, honestly. I think maybe we can leave it because that's close enough to where it shouldn't really make a difference. I mean, the skin is right there. I think we'll be okay. But I am gonna do this. Oh, you know what? Maybe I can. maybe I can do the same thing because I just noticed that I'm about to do what I was about to do here on the next square. Okay, so maybe I can actually create. Well, I don't know. Let me see. I gotta go back to the future. No, I have to go back to in front. There we go. Okay. Now we could stretch it. Actually, now that I can see, I have to obstruct my view in order to see. It's weird. uh, I want to see like if I were to do it this way and extrude and and then connect. I'm trying to see how that would look. I think we could just stretch it over. To be honest, I'm not even gonna put too much thought into that. The owner of AEW just had a pic taken of him and Shane McMahon at a private meeting room at an airport. Oh well, they are businessmen. Shane McMahon has his own cable and internet company in China. I don't know how the two relate, but I'm pretty sure. Well, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe Shane McMahon will become involved with AEW. That would be interesting. I'd see it as another some kind of either, and he owns a bank network in China. Yeah, I've read about that. I didn't know that about him. Coming up, I know that he wasn't really involved in WWE. I think he planned out one of the more recent Royal Rumbles, but he's just not credited for that. At least that's what they say. I don't know. Like I'm not really I don't know what's going on backstage. I don't have the scoop. I don't have the latest skinny on what's going on, but that's what I heard. I'm waiting for a pay per view with a mystery wrestler. With a mystery wrestler comes up. Here comes the money. Yeah, I did like his matches. Honestly, he seems annoying. He seems like an annoying character, but he's actually entertaining. And he had that really interesting match, that hardcore match with Kurt Angle, where they were just destroyed. They were like, it was like, I think they didn't even, I don't even think they bladed. I think he just literally just put him through actual glass. I think he did like a belly to belly suplex through like a glass window. It was like a real glass window. Coast to coast. It's like a super risky move. Coast to coast. And it's a funny name too. I kind of like the name of that, the coast to coast. It's basically he stands on one. If you don't know what that is, he stands on one ring post, and then he like kind of does like a splash, I guess you would call that, from one post to the other post on the ring. He was suplexed through glass multiple times until it finally broke. Yeah, he kept slamming into the glass upside down and then landing. It's like that was like 100% not not a not like a like a fall. It was a real fall. It wasn't like a it wasn't like a like a setup or anything. He was slamming on a metal floor. Those McMahons, they're not afraid to put themselves out there for for their product. If anything, that was like the one thing I've always respected about them. They didn't just send people out to make us money. They were in it. They were actively involved in it. It was like it's like that like a family of performers, but instead of a circus, it's a sports entertainment. Like the Flying Graysons or something, but with minus the fall to the death. At least not for the McMahons. I'm sorry, I didn't even mean it like that. Okay, somebody actually did fall to their death doing this stuff, but that wasn't to make light of that. Okay, I'm sorry. All right, it's nervous laughter. I promise. A drop kick splash. Okay, 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 okay. Yeah, drop kick splash. Okay. I just remember him just jumping from one end to the other. That's it, and that looks like it would really hurt. I don't know how you could like jump as far as you possibly can and gimmick that, or soften them because you have to learn how to fall when you do that stuff. So there's that. It's not like you don't have someone helping you lift the other guy up because these guys are like hundreds of pounds, 2, 3, sometimes 4. They need help. You can't just. Some people can deadlift that kind of weight, like Mark Henry. I'm pretty sure he could because he's legit strong man. He's like one of the strongest people in the world at one point, and he's probably still there. Maybe not the strongest like he used to be, but this guy took an actual chain link, and broke it with his hands because it was a real lock. It wasn't like a fake lock. It wasn't gimmicked to break. He just broke it. Shane did a ton of things to hurt himself just because he didn't have technical skills. He was definitely somebody who slammed himself. He was one of the first. And actually, he was not the first. Sabu was the first in my eyes. From me watching it, as a casual fan, he was the first person I saw that would continuously hurt himself. I was like, why do I root for this guy? He always loses and he hurts himself like every match. But I used to like Sabu a lot, when I watched ECW. But it seemed like he could not beat his rival Taz. They don't really. It's not the Taz of WWE where he's kind of, it was like legit. This guy is dangerous Taz, okay, from ECW. I like that. I actually like that Taz more, and I never rooted for Taz then, but his image, his wrestler image in ECW was way better than it was in WWE. I've always thought he was wasted when he went to WWE. His talents are wasted, not him wasted. I mean, maybe he could have been like, so he might not have been like, WWE is more safe first of all, and um he might not have been able to do those types of matches anymore. At least I don't know if he ever did. I don't think he did. Sabu could wrestle though. I think Spike was my first risky bump guy. Oh yeah, that was all the same promotion. You see one, you see them all. Freaking Tommy Dreamer and then all the stuff with Mass Transit and what's the guy? The guy that died recently. The guy that always the guy that people actually feared. That guy, I forget his name. Yeah, New Jack. Yeah, that's right. And New Jack, and they were all there. They were all up there. But Sabu, I would think, was probably the most risky to himself more than anything. I remember Spike though. I remember him. I just can't really remember all of his matches. That's kind of a weird thing there, but I'm pretty sure when I bake that, it'll be fine because this red topology will be. This isn't like the final red topology. I realize that it doesn't stop here. Okay, now I don't have to do anything else once this is done. But when I do the multi resolution and bake the normal maps, all this will be changed into a more complex red topology. And it seems that the squares are smaller. So looking after learning more about the next steps, last night, it seems to me that the red topology might not actually be a problem when I get to the point where I'm rigging because there's so many squares at this point on my other one that they're very small and complex. So I don't see how it could possibly mess with the rig. So I think we're good, really. I think I'm just being careful, maybe a little too cautious. It says as long as it looks like the characters that I made and that I can pose them with no problems, then I'm satisfied. Okay, I'm sure that everything else will come with time. Let's see, but yeah, Sabu was probably my favorite wrestler in ECW. I did like the Dudley Boys though. Honestly I like the Dudley Boys more when they were in WWE because I don't think they did like the more performative stuff in ECW, but they were much better performers in WWE when they moved over. So I'm a little cut off here. I'm trying to fix my screen a little too zoomed in. I missed the Shadow Heart stream. What went down? We got Yuri back. We went to the top of the tower. We got him back. He almost killed us. He actually almost killed. He actually did kill Alice, but not got her back up. And then after we did that, they teleported me out of the castle. Before I teleported out of the castle, I saw something in the cell that he was being held in, and I went back up to that room to get it, and then at the top of that tower, I got all of my level 2 souls at once. I got them all in one, well, 2 goes actually. I got all the other colors besides black and white in one go. Ran out of MP, ran out of items, so I had to leave, which they let me do. And then I used a tent. I went back in, got black. No, I got white. Left again because that was actually really easy, but I wanted to top off my MP, and then I got black. Almost died to black. Black almost killed me, but I got it. And then I went down. Let's see, was there another boss? There was. There was Yuri, and then there was Foxface in the graveyard. He comes out. He was bullying his own son in his mind. And then there was the bathroom boss, is what I like to call it. It was what was her name? The old lady that killed the guy that hired us to go to his town and save his family. You know, there was an old lady. There's another old elderly evil person that showed up, and we fought her in the bathroom, and she works for Roger Bacon. Yeah, I am enjoying it. I like it. And then we went to, what was the next town? We left Prague. We're actually not in Prague anymore. We are in I forget. I actually don't remember the town that we went in because that's where I ended the stream. But we went to the next town after Prague, and then we left it. It's wherever Roger Bacon said he was going to be. I forget which town that is. It's a town I've never heard of. In Oh yeah, it was sorry, it's Paris. A town in Paris, or sorry, in France that we went to, not in Paris. Somewhere close to Paris. That's where we're at now, in France. Somewhere in France. Bacon, yeah. Apparently, Yuri absorbed the seraphic radiance, and yeah, and he almost lost his soul over it because he couldn't handle it. And then Foxface used that opportunity to try to kill him. In a sense. And when I got all the souls, I went to the soul door to open, and they were like, "Nah, you don't need to come here. You know, you don't have enough malice." I went in there when I had very low malice because I saw that everything was lit up for the gravestones. So I was like, "Okay, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get all the souls in one go." That was actually a bad idea. Yeah. I wanted, yeah, I didn't know. What's her name? Alice was in the graveyard. That's where we were at. Oh yeah, Foxface punched the hell out of Alice. That was crazy. Like he just jaw jacked her right there. She slid on the floor and everything. I was like, wow, what an asshole. And then he jaw jacked Yuri, but Yuri got up, and we had to fight him. We had to take him down after that. Now he's dead. Now Foxface is dead. But if the game told me, or at least in the story, they said that if you get high malice now, we're gonna come after Alice because that was the deal. They opened the back door to the graveyard where the tree is. You know, the tree where Yuri was making that farm in real life. The tree is back there, And they're like, okay, yeah, we'll help. All right, Alex, you want to save him? All right, we'll open that door, but now we're gonna come after you. Hey, Judicious, welcome to the stream. Oh yeah, I saw. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. I saw that post, Judicious. I'm gonna take a look at BD4. That's going to be exciting. See what's going on in there. BD4. It's almost like they had this guy in the bouncer. His name was PD4. That's what that reminds me of. You could do a versus more like versus PD4. It's like a cyborg guy. He's a cyborg like Muay Thai dude, and he has like a whip. His arm can turn into like a IV from Soul Calibur whip. He could whip you with it, and then he has the Muay Thai kicks where he just keeps kicking you in your ribs at the same spot over and over and over again until you're dead. He just keeps kicking you. I'm going to remove Tectonic. It's fine for single player, but on server it strains too much. Or if I leave it in, you'd have to disable it on servers. I don't know. Oh, okay. Yeah, I want to see what I'm just gonna look up that mod. I want to see exactly what it does because I'm not familiar with it at all. I know you explained it yesterday or the day before. I don't remember. I made even more progress in Harvestella. No one can change my mind. It's a Final Fantasy game, a good one. That's great. Apparently, I've heard that there was some anime I just saw that not too long ago that made reference to 11. They compared this city that they showed up in to Sandoria, but they didn't say Vanadil. They called it Vanna. But there was like a disclaimer. It was like this is a reference to Final Fantasy 11. I was like, oh wow. And then they showed somebody riding a black chocobo, and it's like that big bird is also a reference to Final Fantasy. The test server currently is using it. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna try to pop on that server today and take a look around. I want to see if I want to see how it turned out. I'm also very tempted to port over to All the Mods 9, but I have a death egg in All the Mods 8. If I port over to 9, I'm just gonna start a single player stream over it from the beginning and just just build a death egg. That's gonna take a long time though. That's the only problem. I wish I could just take my entire world and just put it in 9, but you just can't do that. They started all of my 10 already. Oh my god, yeah, it's so hard keeping up. I might just stay in 8 to be honest, man. I'm really tired of rebuilding this death egg because they keep. You know what they did? They put Draconic Evolution back in. They put Ender IO. They put it's basically all the mods 3 again, but instead it's all the mods 9, and that's really tempting because that was probably my favorite. All the mods were the first three. The first three all the mods were my favorite. They're not too different from each other in comparison, but all the mods 9 is looking more like those, and I like those. So tempted to switch, very tempted. But that also means I gotta rebuild everything. It's pretty much designed. I know how to build it. I have a very solid plan on building the death egg. It's nice and neat. There's no clutter inside. All the machines have their own layer within, like it's like a sphere, right? This is the inside of the sphere. This is where all the the decorations and whatnot are. Everything is all nice and neat. Machines are neatly placed, and then there is the outer circle around that circle. That's where all the machines go, and pipes and whatnot. So it keeps the inside of it nice and neat, and that's much better than doing it the way I did it before, which is put everything in the center and then just have an outer shell around it. Now it's the inner sphere, and then the space in between that and the outer shell. It's much better to do it that way. It just takes up more space. But luckily we have a bigger build limit, so it's not really a big deal. If it was when it was still 255, because I have it so that the death egg is in a raised elevation. There's like a part of the island that I'm building it's raised actually from the rest of the island, so I have to build it higher. But if I build the death egg at its current dimensions higher at 255, the top of the death egg will be at the build limit. But now that we have the bigger build limit, that's not a big issue anymore. I got so much more clearance. I can build over the death. I can build something higher than the death egg. So it's very yeah, I'm liking the build limit. Alex's caves is about to be removed too. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. Is that the same? Well, what do they add? Is that what do they add to Alex's caves? Yeah, I'm also putting that. How about build a better future? I'm tr- that's actually I actually have a plan for that. Um, if they put RF tools dimensions back in, and this is even more grandiose, but I was going to build future and past versions of my builds, kind of like a la Sonic CD. I had that plan for a long time. I just never got around to doing it. So funny you should say that. I was already planning to do that, but I haven't seen RF tools dimensions in a long time. I don't know. Um, that's not in all the mods 8 currently. They don't have a lot of dimension. Well, actually, they do. I have a room that's big enough for all the dimensions. It's like 6 or 7 dimensions in all the mods 8 currently. I don't have a dimensions to the between land or a portal to the between lands, but I have a dimension for everywhere else. Just beware the Bristilla is farming, just to have a farming soon. Yeah, I'm adding that to my wish list too. I might play that too at some point, but right now I'm gonna focus on Shadow Hearts as far as the streaming. I definitely want to try to play that one day. Excuse me. See, that's the goal is to try to keep the form of the year a little bit. You've got the helix there, and then you got the back of the year, whatever that's called. I don't know. Actually, I don't know what the back of the year is called. I don't even know if it has a name. Back of the year. That's the name of it. The official name. The part that you should definitely clean often, otherwise it's going to smell. And some people, they don't do that. They don't do that well enough. You just rub the back of your ear and smell it. You'll see. You'll know then. 10 hours in, second party member. Wow. You know what it kind of reminds me of Dark Cloud, but Dark Cloud doesn't have like an intensive farming system. The farming is more on the weapon progression. There's so many weapons in that game that you can evolve your weapon into. It's like you have to do certain things and your weapon will keep transforming, and there's so many like trees. That's where the farming is. It's more like that. And then Dark Cloud 2 has the village building thing. I'm definitely going to play those. I like those games, but I never finished them. I'm definitely going to go back and finish those. Part 1 does not have the village thing, but it does have the weapon progression. And then of course there's mini games. There's fishing, and there's like a kind of like a hot shots golf esque mini game that you can play in areas of the world. It's like the dungeon areas. You can actually golf in there, and you could do bank shots. You have like sometimes you have to have the goal like way up here somewhere, and you have to like smash the ball up against the wall and then like bounce it off over rivers, across caves, off of trees, and into the goal. Basically one big trick shot. But it reminds me of Hot Shots Golf. That was like the one golf game that I really enjoyed playing. But it's a lot like that. Mine smells okay. I'm like, yeah. Oh, I'm gonna control Z that again because we don't want any extra vertices or faces or anything, because that will we when I get to the part where I'm UV unwrapping, that will show and kind of screw things up a little bit that I'll have to fix, and I'm not trying to do that. We have 5 errors in my like 5 or so errors in my other mesh. They're they're easy fixes, but point is to do it right on the first go. I gotta sell enough crops to get a barn so I can get a mount to travel around the world map without spending all my day walking. I like walking in video games. Normally, when I try to find like things that are hidden or secrets, I usually go on foot because that's the best way, in my opinion, to find stuff that are hidden. If it has that type of thing, I don't know, but I'll go on foot because then you can kind of break the map down into smaller sections and just you can search every nook and cranny. I'm sure there's something out there to find. I like that type of stuff. You gotta find the secrets. I kind of approach it like Minecraft. Search every area, high and low. It's all about the secrets. Now, doing the front of the ear is going to be a little challenging because we're going to be seeing the back of the ear is going to be in front. So we're going to have to turn off in front so we can get all the little details. Uh, I think this is the subhelix and then the lobe and uh, I forget what that's called. Anyway, I have to be looking at it when I'm sculpting it. I know what it's called because I'm using a reference and it's all a diagram and whatnot. The day is limited like a normal Harvest Moon or Stardew Valley. I have played zero of those. That's another thing that I got to get into one day. Probably Stardew Valley. Well, actually, no, I have a Switch. I could buy Harvest Moon whenever I want, actually. So that's not really, there's really nothing stopping me from playing it. Besides, this and what I'm already currently playing on stream and off stream. But soon, my off stream games are going to be on stream. So really, just this. Your day is limited like a normal Harvest Moon Stardew Valley. You have to measure your time with farming, building, cooking, social mechanics, dungeons, and travel. Do things come out at night to attack you? Does anybody attack your farms? I'm gonna turn in front back on. Never played a farming sim. Don't start with Stardew. Start with an average one. I don't know what an average one would be. I like to jump in with both feet 99. It doesn't really matter how in depth or how grindy something is. I mean, that's what I did with Minecraft, and technically, modded Minecraft probably has more than Stardew Valley. At least, I'm going to guess. I mean, I don't see how Stardew Valley could have more than Minecraft or even Terraria. No, but the time passes quickly, and you have to get in everything you need today. Yeah, yeah. You got to get your crops going. Don't want to starve to death. No, starting with Stardew was like starting modded Minecraft. You won't want to play any others. um, I farmed in Ark. I farmed in, of course, the games that I've already mentioned. And wait, did I farm in Conan? Can you farm in Conan? I don't remember. I don't remember doing it in Conan. They're basically farming sims. I mean, you got to sit there and wait. Uh, I'm trying to think. Were there any farming sims that I played? Mm, I don't think so. I actually don't think I've ever played an actual farming sim. Games had farming in them, sure. Oh, you want to count 11? 11 takes real life days to grow something. That's really the only real farming sim that I've played. It doesn't get any more grandier than that, but 11 is not just that, that's a very small part of 11. I mean, and that was, gardening was never my main source of guild. So, I mean, I wouldn't say that it was a big part of my game, but it could be if I had, you know, multiple people, multiple characters doing it, which one day will be true. I only have two characters right now that are actively gardening, and I have so many elemental ores as a result. I was like, man, if I had my other characters ready, actually, no, I do have my other characters. They all garden. Never mind. I count them when I say they're my characters. I mean I can actually use them, but I can't. I can only use two characters and do multiple things in the game with those two characters, and the other ones are just mules right now. I like playing. It's like playing. Okay, wait, hold on. Let me go back. Start with average good ones. Stardew has like 100 times the context and mechanics. It's just too good and will paint an unrealistic view of the genre. Oh man, yeah, I can see that. Okay. That's like playing SF6 in your first game and going back to play SF1 or SF2 as your second game. That doesn't really affect me too much though, playing something that's, well, I don't know, when it comes to that, I could see that being Yeah, I can see that being a legitimate concern. I don't mind going back to retro stuff in general, but for something specific, if the mechanics are good enough, yeah, you're right. I'm not gonna want to play anything else. I think that is that still rings true for me. Even though I don't judge old games by today's standards, but if there's a game that blows a concept out of the water, I don't think I would go back to the progenitor. All of the farming sims feel retro, even if they are modern. Yeah, they're very simple, aren't they? Just sometimes all you have to do is just put the seed in the ground, and that's it. That's all it requires. That's all it requires. Put the seed in the ground, and then a little while later, you're good. You're good. You come back. You got your stuff. I can see Stardew being way more than that. I've seen people play it. Some people speedrun it. You believe that? I don't know what you're speedrunning to, but they always try to wait for something that has a chance of happening that will somehow improve the run somehow, whether it be like I don't know, something like a armor, piece of armor, or something for a dungeon. I don't know. I actually don't know how the game works, but I know a lot of people count on certain things happening. Seems to be common enough that they're expecting it. I don't know, but like I said, I don't know how it works. Stardew has been on my wish list for years now. I just haven't had the courage to buy it. It's very cheap. It's not like it's not a price issue. It's just I don't know if I want to do it right now. I know what kind of game it is. Okay, I know that's part of the reason why I haven't gotten it yet, because I know what's gonna happen. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna get real into it, and then everything else that I'm playing is gonna take a back seat. And then that thing that you said might happen probably will happen. You not wanting to play anything else that has those mechanics. I've seen how it is. Well, yeah, it does connect. It doesn't connect that far. Maybe we can just grab that and push that down once we do the red topology. It's very. You could do make minute, very minute changes as long as um you don't change it to the point where you have to unwrap it again. It's literally just an extra step though. It's not really a big deal, but we don't want to make too many big changes. I know how to fix it though. Uh, Not fix it, but if big changes are made, I've already tested something that a method that I could use to fix it. Like for example, this guy's jaw, not this guy, but my other guy's jaw was a little too far forward. Like his jaw came up to like here instead of along where the ear is. So I moved it back. And basically what I did was I turned my low poly into the high poly, and then created a new low poly, and subdivided it like lesser than the new high poly, and that somehow fixes it. It's kind of weird to explain, but I can probably when I get to that part, when I have that part committed to memory, I'll be able to show that stuff during a stream one day. I'm still trying to like drill this stuff into my head so we could just breeze through all these things and really get to actually creating pages. That's the goal. There's tons of great farming sims. It's just hard to go back if you don't know Stardew is a major exception. How about Farming Simulator? How's that? I think I got that for free on Epic. Can't get no more sim than that, can you? It's literally a farming sim. It's called Farming Simulator. You know anything about that game though? I don't know any others. I only know Harvest Moon, Stardew Valley, and the minor sims that we already play. Alex's Cave's neat. Just not sure what adds to the concept. Yeah, Alex's Mobs has the mobs, but what do the caves add? We already have don't isn't there young doesn't Young's have a better caves or something like that? Or something adds a biome. Graveyard Keeper is Stardew Valley with corpses. Wow, Farming Simulator is way different. That's closer to American Truck Driver and games like that. Gotcha. So it's basically just actual farming. I mean, yeah, you don't have mysticism, your little elemental stuff that you can. I don't know. I actually don't know. I can't even begin to try to describe something I've never even experienced. So people do try that sometimes, though. I don't know anything about these types of games. Like I said, I only played games that have those mechanics, but they don't center around farming. So Young's had one, but discontinued it with the 1.18 updates. Caves and rare caves, with things like dinosaurs, whoa, and abyssal deep ocean chasms. I'm kind of curious as to what kind of deep ocean chasms, because I feel like we have that already. Unless we already had Young's better caves, and those were the chasms that I saw, but I don't know. I don't think they were. I thought those were just uh, vanilla vanilla generations. I think that'll work. I'm not too concerned with the back of the ear. I'm pretty sure it'll be fine. It turned out fine on my other mesh. I'm looking at the other ear. Yeah, it's just this little part. We can just push that down. Not a big deal at all. I don't know if we can push it down right now, but once I get this low mesh and I subdivide, I'll just when I do the tertiary forms and the micro details, we can adjust that. I'm not going to try to hyper focus on something that I can do. There's a legitimate step down the road that will handle it, and I've already added some micro details and tertiary forms to the base mesh, so it's literally just me refining that stuff. I didn't have to do that, but I didn't know. Yeah, sometimes I go a little too far ahead, do too much. In Farm Simulator, it's more like driving the vehicles and stuff like that. It's less time management and growth, more like tractor or uh, backhoe simulator in farming sim. You ever watch the truck driver sim, that game Grumps used to play? It's exactly like that, but in a farm instead of. Yeah, I have actually. I have seen that. That's why I was wondering, like, well, I mean, if you're going to simulate truck driving, then it's probably everything that farming entails, right? Like actual farming. I'm pretty sure it's not unlike a grind in Stardew Valley, but maybe it's not. I don't know. Take the crops to the sell them to food chains or whatever. You got to get inspected by the Food and Drug Administration. Something I don't know. I mean, I actually don't know what goes into actual farming. I have the basic concept down. I could probably start a farm in real life if I wanted to, but I don't know anything beyond that. And it's going to be by hand, so it'll probably be something very small, like backyard size. Just make the crops and water them. Bang. It's probably more to it than that, but That's exactly what I would do if I tried it. but if, okay, with farming sim, you don't get to see crops grow or play in the fields. It's just drive. Oh, okay. You're describing the fun farming sim games. Gotcha. Okay. Well, okay. Well, I can guess I can skip that game. If I want to drive, I'll just play Gran Turismo. That way I can drive and race and dominate the tracks, or pit technique somebody that's faster than me. Watch them crash and burn while I drive away. In specific Harvest Moon, you have to get. Oh, actually, you know what? I don't even think you can do that in the new Gran Turismos anymore. I think you can make your car intangible at will, so people can't do that to you, which kind of sucks because you can't do that in real life. There was always more realism in those games, but you know, sometimes I think you should just penalize people who if you could make a system that can detect when a crash is intentional or not, I think you can just do that instead and penalize them instead of just making your car a ghost. That's kind of sucky in my opinion. I don't know if it's possible though. I guess that's just maybe it isn't. That's why they went with the ghost cars. Specific Harvest movie. What is that movie? Fun with Dick and Jane. I think they had Jim Carrey. Like they made him like a fall guy, and he went on CNN or whatever, and he mispronounced specific, and it kind of like made him look really bad on TV, and he lost his job over it. That's how I felt right there. In the specific Harvest Moon, you have to get all your crops graded. High quality can be sold to stores, and low quality you sell on a blanket in the middle of town. Oh wow. Well, at least you're getting money for it. Can you eat it? Can you make dishes and cook and eat? Does that affect the quality of your food? New Gran Turismo, you can't crash. You just take damage and have to go into the pit for repairs more. That's interesting to have all those expensive cars, extra parts on hand like that. Hey, pull the McLaren in here. We got all the parts right here. We'll just build you another one. I don't think they don't seem like strike me as the type of cars that you service on the road. Once they crash, I feel like they're just totaled after that. Big money races. Yeah, pull in that Dodge Viper. I don't even do people even drive those anymore? I haven't heard about that car in a long time. Dodge Viper. It's a very, very popular racing game car back in the day. I don't know about so much now. I don't know what they have now. Yeah, most farming sims you have to cook food to raise stamina or for battle boost or HP regen, and most the higher quality ingredients give them buffs. Cool. So okay, so you say don't okay, you say you're basically telling me not to play Farming Simulator. You said don't jump into Harvest Moon or Stardew Valley. Which one would you recommend? That's basically the center of this whole thing. Which one would you recommend I play? Because I'll just go ahead and get it and play it. I'm gonna get Harvestella because that actually does look fun. But as an introduction to these types of games, what should I get? I'll check it out. Does Ocean Horror have farming? That's like a fake, not a fake, but that's like a indie Zelda. I think I told you about that before. I had that on my wish list for a long time. I saw someone playing it on stream once, and it looked fun. I know you like Zelda games, so I wanted to tell you about it. I just haven't had the will to play it really, so I didn't get it. But it goes on sale really low, like a couple bucks. It's just like the new Phantom Hourglass. That's what it reminded me of. And around the time you were playing that, I think that's when it came out. Any story of seasons is a solid game. Harvestella, the jury's still out. The whole old Harvest Moons, but not the new ones. Oh, Harvest Moon One. Which system did that come out on? I can try that. I always wanted to play that. I just never got around to actually getting it and playing it. Is Harvest Moon on PlayStation? I don't think it is. I think isn't that a is it a GameCube game? Nintendo 64? Which one was it? I don't remember. I don't remember when it first came out, which system it came out for. Oh, SNES, really? Okay, I could try it. I'm pretty sure I have it. I have all the SNES games. Matter of fact, I could look right now. Let's see. Do we have Harvest Moon already? Sorry, I had to peek around the corner here, so to speak. Let's see. Let's see if I have it. Because if it's like one of those things that, maybe it was an import game, those don't always end up in packs and whatnot. Let's see. GH. Oh yeah, there it is right there. Okay, yeah, I do have it. All right. Well, we can give the SNES Harvest Moon a go one day. Harvest Moon, I didn't even know it was on SNES. Even though I never owned an SNES, everyone else I knew did, so I never really missed out on, the big titles, but that was definitely not one of the titles that I knew existed. Sometimes I am still surprised at some of the games that were on SNES and I just didn't know about, or just in Nintendo in general. I didn't know they had King's Quest versions of, um, no Nintendo game versions of SNES or sorry NES versions of King's Quest. I did not know that. I said SNES. I meant NES versions of King's Quest. I had no idea that I ported to that game. Ultima the same way. Same thing. Did not know those games were on that system. I got into them later, so I always thought those were like computer games or later titles, new titles. I guess that explains why everyone was so excited about the first Harvest Moon because it was already an established game. Now I know that. Okay, I didn't know. Too busy playing Flashback for Genesis and games like that. Personally, like Harvest Moon: A Wonderful Life, Harvest Moon: Friends of Mineral Town, or Harvest Moon: Magical Melody. But if you want any of the three I said, get Story of Seasons versions. Okay, and where is that on Switch? GameCube? What do we got? What do we got here? Because I'll get them today. Not well, yeah, today. I will look for these games in established stores. Okay, Switch PC and Xbox and Sony. I haven't looked into too many Xbox titles. I gotta see if I can get that working. I think I did find a way to play that, but I haven't tested it. That's something that I'm actually missing. I gotta look into Xbox stuff now because I kind of want to play Jet Set Radio Future. They haven't pointed that. They haven't ported that one. Not pointed. Ported that one. They have the first one on Steam, but it's buggy as heck. Crashes a lot. The guy, let's see. I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna show you something within Twitch. Let's see. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? This guy right here. This guy right here, try hard. He speed runs Jet Set Radio, and he does not like anyone who speeds run that game. They do not like the Steam version. They do the Dreamcast or whichever other versions exist out there. Story of Season are on all of them. Okay, yeah, I'll probably get it for Switch then, right? Or PC. Yeah, probably most likely PC. That was easier. Actually, no, it's the same for Switch. I could literally just log on and just like, hey, give me Harvest Moon. That end up downloading. But there's probably sales on PC, so I don't know. Nintendo ain't too keen on sales. And I think it actually crashed during the stream. Once, Jet Set Radio. They didn't port it right. It's definitely a bad port. As someone with the Steam Jet Set, it's so bad. The input is so delayed. Yeah, it's terrible. So I got the Dreamcast version. If I had known that beforehand, I never would have bothered with the Steam version. But I already had the Dreamcast version, so That's what happens when you try to go legit. They screw. I do try to, when I can, I do try to, stay within the, the light side of things, but sometimes they force your hand. Okay, if a ROM runs better, well, by golly, G Willikers, it just runs better. And I think they actually removed some of the songs too, like they did with Tony Hawk. I almost bought that the Tony Hawk remaster that they did, but I was like, you know what? Why would I do that when I can just get the real versions? And it's not. Even though I probably wouldn't be able to play the music on stream anyway, but I could still enjoy the game, the original version of the game, if I want to. Probably not on stream. I don't even know. I think you can turn the music off, right, on Tony Hawk, so you can at least do that. Or you can just not care and just play it anyway. I don't think that's a good idea though. You can't have input. You can't have a delayed input on Jet Set. You got to jump off buildings. You got to like skate on the side of them. You got to wall run. That requires precision. All right, and you can't have delayed inputs in a game like that. Nah, I get the remake. I need to see you versus realness. I have not played those games in so long. It's crazy, man. That little time bubble, that period where it was Tony Hawk, Neopets, Pokemon, and then we got into actually real skateboarding. I don't know about you guys, okay, but um, I guess it was more you guys that got me in actual skateboarding more than the game itself. Some of y'all had a legitimate interest in skateboarding. I think that may have been before Tony Hawk even came out. I guess we can just attribute it to everyone else's inspiration, which was actual Tony Hawk doing that 900. I guess that would be probably the biggest inspiration for everyone, right? I didn't actually see it though. I had heard of Tony Hawk, and I did watch X Games, but I didn't see that. Actually, didn't see it. So, but yeah, y'all were into it, and y'all got me into it as a result. But I kind of dabbled in it. I didn't do it as much as y'all did. I could do a board slide. That was cool. But I probably only did like a handful of kick flips, and it took me a while to get an ollie down. And I never really like wiped out or anything. That's definitely a big part of skateboarding, isn't it? I never really had to nurse any wounds or anything from falling. I never really fell. If I did fall, I was able to catch myself. That's like board slide was the only grind I could do easily. That was the easiest one. But yeah, I like the games. The games are great. Every time I think about the games, I just get a wave of nostalgia because of just that time period. It's probably really the only thing that really gives me that kind of nostalgia, and that's only because I don't actively try to play those games. Like most games that I've played back then, I could still play, so I don't really feel nostalgic about them, and I still enjoy them as I did then. Like Pokemon, I don't really that doesn't really give me nostalgia. I play them because I like them. It's like whatever. Let's go catch the freaking monsters, breed them, and fight them. That's all you got to do. There's so many games that have that mechanic, so it's not really a big deal to me. Actually, no. You know what? You know what? Another game like like when I played GoldenEye Perfect Dark, yeah, it reminds me of those days too. That's like kind of like in the same bubble that Smash Brothers, the first Smash Brothers, just playing endless multiplayer games. People really don't like that Nintendo 64 controller. I don't. It's been years since I've held one, but I played GoldenEye Perfect Dark with a keyboard and mouse, so I don't know if I'll ever go back. I'm spoiled by that now. Don't select that. Okay, we're getting into the ear now. I don't know. I should probably turn off in front for this period. I got the new 64 controller for Switch. I like the controller. Everyone that I've seen that has went back to that game with that controller, they they can't use it for whatever reason. I don't think I would have that problem. I just like keyboard and mouse more. I don't really care about playing it with the original controller. That doesn't do it for me. I just like the game. I just like playing the game. That's it. And that's all that really matters in the end. For me anyway, That's how I see it. There's no one to, there's well, I don't know. There's still GoldenEye Source. You could play it that way, but they added so much to that game and it's not really a I don't really see that as GoldenEye. That's like something that resembles GoldenEye. It's not actually GoldenEye. If they were to put GoldenEye as it is in a multiplayer format for that people can actively play, then I would say, okay, yeah, this is GoldenEye. But GoldenEye Source isn't really GoldenEye, in my opinion. What are we doing here? We're going into the ear. I can see doing it this way, so I'm going to continue without in front on. We're going in. I guess this is still the helix. It's just the other side of the helix. The reason FPS on 64 is so easy is because the controller is so slow and clunky. Yeah. I don't know how they did it, but we were playing it on a keyboard and mouse. It's like playing an actual FPS. It's crazy. I mean, I'm sure I could even do it on. I just didn't really grasp the idea of playing like speed running the levels back then, so I never really got any of the target times in GoldenEye. It's not. I probably got like one or two of them that were super easy, but I didn't know about strafing making you move faster, or at least using it to beat levels like that. Approached it in the way that just kill everyone in there that's a bad guy that tries to kill me and then complete all the objectives. That's how I played the game. Once I started playing Metal Gear and Metal Gear would reward you for not killing enemies, that was the game that made me like consider ignoring enemies, in favor of doing other stuff, in the game. It was more that game that had an influence on me for speed running than it was for GoldenEye, which probably started speed running. That's probably the first game that really started that. They reward you for beating the game or beating the levels quickly. GoldenEye on Switch has online multiplayer and matchmaking with the OG game. Oh, okay, cool. I did not know. John and I had a shared file that was 100% completed. It took a specific weekend where we both ate a full pizza and a 2 liter Mountain Dew to accomplish. I think that may be the only time I slept at my house. Oh wow. I mean, you mean he slept at your house, right? You sleep at your house all the time, I'm sure. Yeah, when I had it on keyboard and mouse, it was so easy. It was so easy to get those time attacks, those target times. I literally 100% it in one sitting, easily. I think there was one level where I had to do it again, and I'm trying to remember which level that was. It was either Aztec or yeah, it was Aztec. As a matter of fact, it was either Aztec or Train because um the beginning part of Train is like the hardest part. Once you get that through that part with all the explosive boxes, and you have to kind of have a shootout with the Yanis troops in that little area, you have to get through that part really fast. But once you do, it's just a skinny hallway all the way to Trevelyan. So, um, and you can die really easily in the beginning of Train. But once you get past that, the level is a real breeze. So I had to do Train and Aztec maybe twice, but that was it. Everything else was just go, get all the stuff, and it was really easy to unlock it. I was like, man, if I had known it was this easy, I would have done this back then. But I never really tried to do it. Like the few times I did try to do it, facility was the hardest one for me to do to even attempt. But you have to beat it in 2 minutes, and Doctor Doak is in a random spot every time you play. So, and that's like the one thing that could stop you from getting it, no matter how well you play. I think yeah. As a matter of fact, yeah, I did do. I had to do facility a few times just because of that. It's basically Doctor Doak being in the right spot. That's really the real challenge in facility. But everything else was like super easy. Yeah, except in my house. You know, we would always stay at his. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I've only been to John's house once, just one time. That was like right before I left town to go into the military. Uh, we're going into the ear further. Not John, a different John. Okay, I only knew that one John. I don't know any other Johns. Um. Oh, I got you. Okay, yeah. I was over there all the time. Yeah, John. Yeah, I got you. I never called him that. You know, everyone else did. I always called him by his actual name. For some reason, I was the only one. Well, me and Typo, I guess Typo did too. Unless you're just saying that for online purposes. But yeah, I hope I didn't. Let me see. Okay, we don't have any extra vertices because I kind of hit the button more than once here. Yeah, we were all there all the time. Yeah, it's for internet talk. Yeah, okay, gotcha. Um, yeah, I did all the 99 stocks, 99 stocks and coffee. 99 stocks on Smash and coffee. It was like you could probably get through like what? I think you could do like 3 or 4 of those rounds, and then it will just be daytime again for 3 days straight. That was some real degen level gaming in those days. But it got to the point where I could beat the CPU like, and this is like nothing to brag about. I mean, I'm pretty sure people have done really amazing things in Smash since then, even way more than that. But I remember one time the level started. I had Luigi. The level started, and I think you fight Link first. It's always Link first, and he jumped. He jumped, and I immediately corkscrewed him, and then critical hit uppercutted him into the air, and just get all the bonuses. And that was like all the levels. That was like literally how I played all the levels. It would be like 2 hits, and the fight's over. It was like that's how good I got with that game. I think you can do some crazy stuff in Smash that like way better stuff than that now. But at the time for me, that was I was like, yeah, I was feeling myself. That's another one of those games where John he beat me before I got to that level, and he would never play me again because he played Samus. But me and his brother always played. He liked Kirby, and Kirby was for some reason Kirby and Mario are the hardest to fight on CPU. So I think Kirby more so. So I would always train 99 stocks at CPU level 9 with 4 Kirby's, and they usually just pinball me the entire match at first, but then I started slowly getting better and better to the point where it's like, okay, I killed that one Kirby. Okay, now this time I can kill 2 Kirby's. Okay, now I can't kill the last Kirby. Now I can kill the last Kirby. Now I can kill the last Kirby without even dying. Once I still have all my stocks and all the Kirby's are dead. Just real nutty stuff. We played more than that though. We played more. We played like Mario Party, and that's where I got into Ocarina of Time. That's really when I really that was when I actually became a Zelda fan because I wasn't really into Zelda. It's one of the reasons why I never really beat the first Zelda. I got really far in it. I didn't know where I couldn't find the silver arrows. That was really the only thing that stopped me from beating the game. I found everything else, but I wasn't really into it. It was just one day I just sat down with the game and I was like, okay, we're gonna. I was into it for that day, but once I couldn't get the silver arrows, I kind of lost interest in it. I didn't know where I knew they were in the castle. I just didn't know where. It was one place that I was missing for some reason. And then I didn't play it for years after that. And then I finally decided to play Ocarina of Time because I was still kind of like, man, I don't know. I don't really want to get into this. I got into Adventure of Link, but I didn't know what the heck to do in that game either. So I kind of was like, okay, maybe these games aren't for me. And that was the reason why I kind of stayed away from them. But once I played Ocarina of Time, I was like, okay, I'm back. I'm a Zelda fan now. I was able to grasp that game. It was the story was interesting, the world, finding all the skulltulas, all the little secrets. It was I thought it was really cool, and that kind of brought me back into playing Zelda games again. And we're going to do that. That's probably going to be the next franchise after Shadow Hearts. After we're completely done with Shadow Hearts, I might start setting up for Zelda then, seeing what's going on in all the games there. Hopefully, because I always imagine myself playing that games like some point in during the winter months. Hopefully by the fall we're playing Zelda. It's we're coming up on August now, and we're a ways into the first Shadow Heart, so I think that's possible. I think by September we should probably be on the third or fourth Shadow Hearts, which however many there are. I actually didn't count them. I just got them as the title. I remember ours was of hardest difficulty with near highest handicap just to DBC train. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was essentially what we were doing. Well, it was like for fun. It wasn't like for competitive stuff. I just did it to challenge. That was one thing. If I could get that cartridge just to see how many hours I put into that game, I don't know where it is now. I don't even think it was. That was your cartridge, as a matter of fact. I don't know if you ever gave it back to you, but that cartridge has all the data, and it's going to be all Link because that was my guy. I was mostly Link and Luigi, but Link more. And I want to see the hours I put into that game, but that cart is somewhere in the world, probably reset by now. It's been 24 years, 25 years almost a quarter of a century since I've seen that particular cart. That Luigi stuff I was doing on my own laptop, and that wasn't even with a traditional 64 controller. So that's how good that's how good I got at the game, where I could play a completely different controller and still do stuff like that after years. That was back in 2009 too. So I was like, I was literally me just picking up the game and still two-shotting the computer. And like I said, that's not a special thing. I was just, that was just where I was as far as skill level, not playing for something for a long time and still basically speed running the game. Smash Brothers was one of the chopped. Nope, that one actually did not get chopped. He had that. There was a little end table by the door. He put Smash Brothers for some reason was in that drawer at the time when it got chopped. So that was actually the one game. It was like one or two games that survived. I think the first one was a Kirby game, maybe Mischief Makers or something like that. And then Smash Brothers, because when we walked in, everything was in pieces, right? And then yeah, Cruising USA. Sorry, Cruising USA and Smash Brothers. That's because we kept playing Smash Brothers. And then like we were like, man, dang, can't believe that happened. Like when I was able to finally come back to his house because I had to leave immediately after that. I was like, when she found out he had to go to summer school, everything's in pieces. She was like, got to go home. I was like, okay, I'll see you later, Juan. Oh shoot, John. I'm sorry. I'll see you later, John. And then I didn't see him for a while. And then when I was able to come back, we were like, just reveling in the damage. And then we opened up that drawer and Smash Brothers was there. And we were like, oh, shoot. It's still here. It was like, yeah. And then he went through the whole, the saga of getting another 64. And that's when all the Pokemon cards came in. I can't believe how early that was in the timeline as far as, that was actually before the Pokemon cards. So, because that's how he got the second 64. 20 years later, and I just now found out he kept my game. Yeah, that one survived. I thought he told you. I mean, I don't know, man. I wasn't in the loop. every time. But yeah, that one actually survived. I saw it with my own eyes, and we kept playing it. That's why I was always curious. Like, I don't know, maybe he still has it. If he still has it, I would try to get it from him. I haven't seen him in a while though, so I don't know. I just want to see the hours that I put into that game because it's mostly like it was mostly me, and they would just watch me play it, and I would just do 99 stocks. The game, it's the first in the series, but they still kept track of all the stats and whatnot. So I'm gonna have to edit the I'm gonna edit the VOD later. I'm gonna edit the name out the VOD later. I slipped. I had a slip. I doubt that memory card still works. My three OG memory cards all died years ago. Oh, you know what? Yeah, you got a point there, 99. Yeah, the battery in that cartridge is those were dying out. Let's see, they had GBA ones dying out in around 2016. So yeah, that data is gone. Yeah, you're right. I guess we'll never know. That's okay. I can just do it again on PC. I'm not probably never played a game like that again. I'm never gonna do 99 stocks in Smash Bros. One again. There's no point. I don't even think people play that game in tournaments anymore. Too bad. I would have liked to have had that data on a screen and then screenshot it, you know. But yeah, you're right. The battery is probably dead, long dead, probably exploded. That's what happened to my PSP, and my PSP is not nearly as old as those types of batteries. PSP batteries do not last long at all, and apparently they seem to be a little dangerous because they kind of arced the back of my PSPs, both of them. I think they don't work anymore, and I'm not even gonna bother trying it. I lost my games anyway, so it's really no point. I got them all on ROM now, so it doesn't really matter. But I had physical copies, and I didn't hear them explode ever. They were in storage. They were in a cool area, and one day I was looking through my little war chest that I have here that over the years of random odds and ends, and I found my PSPs. I'm like, oh, why are the battery was completely away from the PSP? Okay, and I was like, oh, I'll just put the battery back in. I put it in. And I noticed how big the battery was. The battery was like fat and it's arced. It does not fit into the PSP, and the door blew off. The door does not fit on the PSP either. So I was like, I wonder what it must have happened when I was not home because it's done, and I'm pretty sure it caused some internal damage either. I'm not gonna try to. I'm not gonna waste any money figuring out if all it needs is a new battery because it doesn't appear to me. It doesn't seem to me like it would work anyway. I don't know. I still have them. I got the turquoise one for the Peace Walker release, and I got the OG one, the black one from before. They both exploded. I had a third one. My very first PSP that I bought was defective, so that should have been a clear sign to me of what kind of quality these handhelds were. I should have went with a Nintendo one in hindsight. Even though as much as PSP was, traveling around the world, it was very, very handy to have when I had some downtime and there was nothing else for me to do, and I could play that, and lots of people had PSP games. But I should have went with like a DS or a GBA or something like that. Something that would actually last. People still have that stuff to this day. And on top of that, I think those batteries were more higher quality. They still work. People just leave them on and just shiny hunt. You hit the hot falling leaves mod didn't. Oh yeah, or was it the snow? It was either the snow or the flowers or the leaves. I don't remember. There were so many things that we removed because of lag. Okay, hear me out. We take joint vacation days sometimes. Tons of bad food and drinks and stream smash ultimate 99 stock hours difficulty one day. You know what? I'll be down for that. You know, I think I can do a. I think I can do um a late nighter like that. It's hard for me to stay up late these days, but I can do it. I like waking up early. I don't like doing what I did back then. You know, I'm kind of attuned to it because I used to have 24-hour shifts, so it's not. If I don't want to sleep, I can manage it, but it's just harder for me to do these days. Hey Trig, welcome to the stream. Abaddon, who the heck is Abaddon? Whoa, I don't know. I don't have a list. Pulling the old names today. Oh, I got you. I've never heard of that name. That's new to me. It's very new to me. The oldest name that I remember is well, I ain't gonna say it because I don't know if he wants me to say it. But you know what I'm gonna say, don't you? 99. I'm gonna try to be discreet, discreet. I'm gonna try to be discreet when it comes to that because I don't know how you actually feel about that name, 99. But you know what I'm gonna say, don't you? Back in the Neopets days, that handle used to go by. I can't stay up late no more. LOL. I'm saying a full day. Okay, yeah. That's fine. That was Tony's comic with the fluffy round characters. Yeah, he had a very it was a very I wouldn't say very. It reminded me of like a fantasy style, like Gold Digger. I don't know if you ever heard of that. It's a very long running comic, but it's kind of like that style. Like what do I have to compare it to? It's kind of like fantasy and anime, like kind of like a blend between that. You know, like the art for Zelda, I guess, would be the closest thing, but it's not quite that. It wasn't quite that. If I had to describe it, if I tried to describe the style that 99 kind of did back then, it was kind of something like that. I was a I kind of tried to copy the I copied a blend between Todd McFarlane, Jim Lee, uh, Rob Liefeld. I'm not even gonna lie, and Yoji Shinkawa. It was kind of like a mix between those three. Say my name, don't do it. Dark Epic Jester was the name that you went by back then. That was the one I remember. I remember Lucent. I remember Coven. I remember what was I? I think I was Dread Omega with some real edge lord cringy stuff. You know, that was what I liked. You know, I still kind of like macabre stuff. You know, a little bit. That's why I like creature design so much because that was like the type of stuff that I drew. You know, one of my main OCs is kind of horror themed in a sense, like a very dark anti-hero. It's very much a product of its time. I created it in the mid to late 90s. So that was like around the time where that stuff was still very popular. And it definitely influenced my art. I'm not even ashamed to say it. I had the big pockets, I had the big guns, jacked up anatomy, uh dark heroes. Not even I mean if hero is like that's a very questionable title. You know, I want to do those stories again, but in animation form. That's going to be the next thing after I do this web comic. Hopefully, you know, sometime in the near future. And but I'm going to, and the story is going to be largely the same as it was when I developed it as a kid. But I'm going to approach it as an adult. You know, a grown adult that you know isn't. You know, I'm going to try to make it make sense. Okay, make it you know more palatable for an audience. Okay, I want you to actually root for this guy because some of the things that he did back in those days, you probably wouldn't root for that guy unless you just like really edgy stuff. You know, I don't really think that would be good for an audience. You know, I don't want people to paint me in a negative light. You know, it's not nothing like crazy, but it's definitely questionable. You know, it's like, is this really the protagonist? But I'm gonna try to keep as much in as I possibly can. Okay. That jester is yeah, dark enigma. Yeah. Yeah, we all had that little bit of like edgy stuff, you know. John, as we brought up earlier, he was more of like a um, what's the guy's name? Akira Toriyama. He had that was more of his style. He drew like that. Um, and it didn't help that he kept getting, we had, Dragon Ball Z was gaining popularity in those days, and he also had Tobal. I think the one thing that Akira Toriyama was associated with, we never really messed with, was Chrono Trigger, except for me. I drew it, I just didn't know where it came from. I saw Chrono and those characters, and I was like, oh, that's a cool design, and I would draw Chrono and things inspired by that type of art, but that's as far as it went. But his whole style was more like a Akira Toriyama, and also he did the edgelord stuff too. So it was like, if basically his type of art was more like everybody's Vegeta and worse. That was like, because Vegeta was his favorite character. Mine was Piccolo. So I got the short end of the stick when it came to like the big fights, because Piccolo would be one of the people they would take out early. But my second favorite was Goku, so that was my fallback guy. But they always disrespected my guy Piccolo. Maybe not so much these days. I think they gave him a new form, and he's like, everyone's a lot stronger now. They actually have stuff to do. So that's the one thing that I appreciate with Dragon Ball Super, even though I don't really watch it. I've seen a couple of things on it, but I hear things every now and then, and I hear that the power levels don't really matter anymore. Everyone's just strong again. Everybody has something to offer to whatever story they're making. And I heard that they gave Piccolo a new form, and he can actually contend with these crazy people now. That was all I ever wanted. As uh, a Piccolo enjoyer. Just wanted him to be useful. They would always, they have him. He would get just his he would get his face rocked by like people like Brawly, and then Brawly would be like beating up other people while he's running and dodging other people. They're all trying to like beat him up, and then he would just kick Piccolo into the air, like behind a mountain somewhere, and then shoot him and blow up, and you just never would see Piccolo again. Thanks. That was my character. He's gone. Or they would, rip his arms off or something, or petrify him. He would always get like really disrespected. I remember the thing that John would make fun of, and everyone that knew that I like Piccolo, they would always say first to try, first to die. That was like the Trunks movie. That was the Trunks movie when he apparently he was the guy who ran in first, and then he gets immediately killed by the androids. They didn't even really show it. They just show him dying. And it's like, okay, cool. Thanks. I'm glad that I tuned into this to see my favorite character die in like the first 2 minutes of the freaking movie. So that was my life as Dragon Ball Z. As a Dragon Ball Z fan, it's just watching my favorite characters die over and over. I still play Neopets. The reboot did it good. We were all different types of Edge. Yeah, that's definitely true. Batman, Spawn. That was my Edge Lord stuff, But I was really a big fan of X-Men. X-Men was my favorite thing. X-Men, then Spider-Man, then Batman. But I think I would put there was a time where I liked Spawn more than anything, because that was just my bag. It was like it was all the right chords, and I was already a fan of Tom McFarlane, because that's how I got into Spider-Man. When I first got into Spider-Man, it was his art, that he was the main Spider-Man guy at the time before he left for Image, and his art made Spider-Man look cool. Oh wow, yeah, the darkness, yes, yes, the darkness. I brought up the darkness during the stream, during the game stream. The next demon form has these gems in his like his monster body, and that was very reminiscent of the darkness. Yes, I remember the darkness. Yes, yeah, I was a fan of darkness, Witchblade too, but more Spawn than anything. Let's see. Yeah, Master Roshi and Krillin are keeping up now. Yes, yeah, yeah. I saw a little bit of the Tournament of Power. Piccolo got a huge buff last patch. I was just about to say. That's all I remember. I didn't even know when I heard it, but that quote in the beginning, yes. People quoted that for that just to get under my skin, because we would always do that. We'd always like make fun of each other's characters, like Vegeta crying. It's like, oh yeah. Vegeta crying. I don't know who Typo's character was in Dragon Ball, but I think he liked Krillin. Yeah, I think he was a Krillin fan. I don't know. I have to ask him next time I talk to him. First to try, first to die. Yeah, yeah. That was it. That was the reason though. That was the reason why that was said so much. just to make fun of my pick, my character. That's okay though. It was part of the game. That was what we did to each other. We make fun of each other. Everything that people like, we would just make fun of it. You know, we should have grew up in Boston really, because that's how I feel like that's the type of stuff that happens with Boston and their sports fans. Everybody just digs into each other. But I wouldn't really know because I never set foot in Boston. Or every time I hear about people from Boston, it sounds like us is what I'm trying to say, but for sports and real life stuff. I'm pretty sure that if we did grow up in Boston, like the stuff, we would be the ones getting made fun of. Right? But anyways, oh yeah, Evil Boo, yeah, I like Fat Boo. Not gonna lie, I like Fat Boo more than I think that was my favorite version of Boo. Was just all his design. I didn't care about any other character. Evil Boo with those Jean jeans. I wish we had. I bet he was a Raditz fan. I Now I like Nappa more. I was always curious though if they had survived, what kind of sayings they would be. But the series never really explored that, or did they? I think they did for GT, but they immediately got killed by Vegeta. Like they all come back, they both come back to life, and they go Super Saiyan, and Vegeta just shoots a blast into like an alleyway, and they kill them both. I liked Krillin and Piccolo, but I didn't follow Dragon Ball Z as heavily as everyone else. In the game, I like Kid Buu. I didn't like anyone with an eye scanner. I got wrongfully banned from Pokemon Unity last night. I put it in a help ticket. They sent me a reply. Wow, that sucks. Sorry about you. These are the people we support. This is how they, what you should do? You should put that on social media. That'll fix that real quick. I don't know if you're that type, the type of person that would do that, but when you're a company, you're an established company and you got people consuming your product, you should not be saying things like that. Okay. There's a line that needs to be drawn. All right. I'm not saying be overly sensitive about it, but I mean, it is your account. Okay. If it were me in that position, that's exactly what I would do. I would just put it to social media and let them sort it out. That's not, I'm not like I'm not the type to do that, but when it comes to customers and people who provide a service, that's the type of things that should not be said. That should not be said. Okay, I don't know if you spend any money on that. I'm pretty sure that it's a free to play thing, but if you did, then that's a problem. All right. I was wrongfully banned for abandoning ranked matches. Something I've never. Yeah, you mean Trick were talking about that yesterday with League. They just get you. They just get you. I'm surprised I was never banned in League. I mentioned that yesterday too. It's just, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Like what? Sorry about your life. Oh, all right. You should have just said F you at that point. That's what you should have done. That's freaking crazy. I had a problem with Amazon. Like I said, I think I've mentioned this. I had faulty RAM. I took it back to Amazon, and then like months went by. I did a return within the return window. Months went by, didn't hear anything. I'm calling Amazon at this point, and they're like, "Oh yeah, yeah, we know. We're just awaiting your return." I'm like, "What? I returned it months ago. Why you haven't gotten it yet?" And they're like, "Yeah, yeah." And then when it gets here, we'll refund your money. And then I call back again for updates. I'm like, well, did you get it? Did you get it? And they're like, oh, well, we see that it made it to the fulfillment center, so we'll get you a refund this week. Cool. Didn't hear anything for another month. I'm like, what is going on here? I'm calling back now. This someone who was above whoever answers the phone told me that they were going to give me the refund. Okay, so I'm like, all right, it's solved. It wasn't solved. Now I'm calling back. It's like they never even heard of Douglas Quaid at this point. That's where they were going. We never heard of it. We never heard of you. What? What? No. When we get the item, you'll get your refund. I'm like, you told me it was at the fulfillment center. Why don't I have my refund? And they're just then they start stonewalling me. Then eventually, every time I would call, they wouldn't even take my calls anymore. I'm like, okay. So I went to UPS. I said, I had the receipt for UPS. I looked up the receipt online. Not only did they deliver the item, but it was in the fulfillment center. I know which fulfillment center it was. I looked up the fulfillment center. There were so many complaints about stuff missing at the fulfillment center. All right. I said, okay. I took everything down and I just posted it on Twitter straight to Jeff Bezos. And it got back to me like within 5 minutes. And like the next day, I got the refund. Matter of fact, or that day, I got the refund. And now, you know what they're doing now? If I order anything from Amazon, they'll just randomly cancel the order. So I don't even use them now. I'm not dealing with Amazon anymore. I go straight to the source. That's how petty they are. And these guys are, the customer service is not affiliate, it's a third party somewhere in India, I'm assuming. I don't know. Like this is what they do. But it worked for me. Maybe it'll work for you. I don't even use. I don't use them anymore. I'm not going through that. They wanna try to get back at me because they were in the wrong. Okay, okay. They're always mad they aren't having a good game with them, though their team is winning or doing okay. Yeah, there's a guy who got bodied and started diving the enemy team at halfway point of the match. Yeah, it's crazy. People play that game angry. I just don't get it. If something made me that mad, I wouldn't play it. I can't play a game if it's not fun. I just can't. I genuinely can't. I tried. All right. For me, it's Driver for San Francisco. It's not fun. Sorry. And I'm sorry to keep bringing that game up, but it really has scarred me, it seems. All right. And I just can't get over it. I can't get over what they did to that series. It was one of my favorite games, my favorite game franchises. I like the 70s grit that it had. All right. It was very cheesy, but it was fun. And you just drive. That's it. It's focused around driving. It's a 70s cop drama, or at least inspired by that type of genre. But you're driving the entire time. You don't even get out of the car for most of it. And they turned it into some kind of new age, metaphysical, body hopping crap. And I can't play it. I just legitimately can't play it. Even though I like driving games, I can't play it. It's too bland. It has no personality. And I can't play it. Pretty fun. Oh yeah. Here's hoping my over 1K followers says unite. Look at my post about the help ticket. Yeah, I had 6 followers and it worked. And people, like hundreds of people, saw that post. I deleted it now, but I still have what I did was I posted it on Reddit on Amazon, and then I linked it to my Twitter, and I linked it to Amazon and Jeff Bezos. And literally the second I posted it, 5 minutes later, they're already like, okay, we're gonna look into this. I'm like, 4 months, 4 entire months. And they saw this in 5 minutes. They look into it in 5 minutes. And then that same day, they were like, okay, we see it. I had reviews. I had the fulfillment center. I put a map of the fulfillment center. I put every Google review and complaint next to that. I put my receipt as proof that it was sent to the fulfillment center. And then I had saved all the emails because I had everything in emails, and the only thing I was missing was me recording the calls, which I should have done that too. Because they were they got to the point where they were like, okay, well, just contact the delivery guy. I said, listen, if I call UPS right now, the first thing they're gonna say is it an Amazon package? I'm going to have to say yes, and then they're going to say talk to Amazon. And I'm calling Amazon. They're telling me to talk to the delivery driver. I'm not doing this, okay? I'm telling you what's going to happen. And they just kept saying that, like I didn't say anything. They were trying to stonewall me. No, that's not going to work. I probably could have taken them to court over that, but it wasn't worth it. I just wanted my refund. It was $800 in RAM sticks, okay? And they came defective. They actually burned out the motherboard that they were in, the DIMM slot. They got super hot and they burned out. And on top of that, they were failing the min checks day one, first of all. But just testing them was frying the motherboard. So I got a return on that immediately. So something must have been wrong. They actually the thing um that I thought they wouldn't give return on was the motherboard, but they actually returned that immediately because the motherboard was legitimately damaged. I damaged it because I put the RAM and the RAM sticks in, and it burned out the DIMM slots. They actually did that. They actually let that one go. I mean, all right, cool, but they were, I don't know what happened to the RAM sticks. I don't know who went to steal those because they ain't gonna work. You put them in the system and try to resell them, you're just gonna screw somebody over. But I guess it don't matter as long as you get paid. I know one strike on my account isn't a big deal, but I know I've never abandoned a match a day in my life. Yeah, me neither. Except the one time when I had, I think there was when we were all playing, me, you, Doomed, everybody. Um, as soon as I started the match, I had a bathroom emergency, and I had to go into the bathroom, and it was a pretty big emergency. Okay, pretty big emergency. I don't know what happened, but that was the only time, and it was with you guys. Y'all ain't gonna report me, it's to my knowledge. I don't know, maybe one of y'all did. I doubt it though. Anyways, yeah, I was joking about that yesterday. I was like, I only really played with you guys. I didn't really I didn't do too many solo queues. So unless y'all reported me, I don't think I've ever gotten reported. And even the solo queues I played were kind of toxic, but um besides me learning volley bear, I don't think there was anything report worthy that I personally did. I don't think I sucked at the game like that. I'm not gonna say I was good, but I didn't really cause us to lose, at least to my knowledge. I don't know, maybe I did. My favorite times playing that game was when we didn't want to win, we just dicked around. Yeah, we were just trying like random combos and whatnot, and sometimes we would win anyway. My favorite my favorite time was feeling like I was invincible on Sona when I had Runic Bulwark. This is a mistake. I think we got two faces in there. We don't want that to happen. That will cause us problems later. It looks like we got three faces in there. We're gonna just do that one again. I think that's yeah, never mind. Yeah, when they have Runic Bulwark and I was able to build AP Sona to the point where I could gank an entire team, that was probably the best time that I had. Anytime where I could get an ace, I think I got one on Gameplay, Gangplank, Sona, and maybe Twitch and Pantheon. I think those were the four. I didn't do it alone, of course. Apparently I've been told that I was kill stealing in recent years. I'm sorry for that. All right, I'll accept it. I'll accept that I may have been a kill stealer, but I thought the objective was to win, and I wanted to win. Especially as a Sona, I'm supposed to just support. I get it. All right, but when you W somebody and they die, I mean, how can you not use that? How can you not? It's looking like a kill stealer. Yeah, I was called a kill stealer like at the start of when I first learned the game. I told Trig yesterday, when that started happening, it was during a bot game. I played a solo bot game with Jin Zhao, and I got called a Chinese kill stealer to the point where they started mimicking the Chinese language, in a derogatory way. I'm not gonna repeat it because Twitch, and that's not something I would do anyway in any capacity. But um, yeah, they started like typing that in the chat. I'm like, I was just like so flabbergasted that this was happening. I was like, I said, I'm not even Chinese. What's going on here? They're literally just looking at my character and then treating me as if I'm a Chinese person. It was so weird. It was very bizarre. I said, wow. Like I said to this day, I still remember that person's name, and they've only played bots since then. It's like, man, you play bots and you act like that. You know how easy it is to kill bots? Crazy, man. The type of people that play that game. You come in a bad mood and you spread you vomit your bad mood all over everybody, and then you just it's like, how do you live like that? How? I can't, man. I can't do it. Kill security. Yeah, kill security. Because they complain if you okay, here's the last hit. I literally put him down to a point where the real AD can kill him. And then they don't kill him, and then they blame me for it. I'm like, all right, you just complained that um I was killing too much. I let you get the kill, and you didn't get the job done. So that's why I do it. If we just kill the enemy, it shouldn't matter who kills them, even though you're the AD. I know you have an assigned job, but I clearly out damage you, and I'm not even trying. I can assist you and out damage you. So what do you want me to do? This was like a solo queue. This wasn't amongst our group here. Usually we just we the things that I've done in our group were only possible because they allowed me to do it. We didn't really follow the meta too much, so we could just be like, okay, yeah, I'll try this, and then or somebody would be like, oh yeah, I want to try this, and then we would like kind of like build our team around that. Except for the one time where I suggested, I think that 99 don't pick a zero for the next match, and apparently um that was not taken the right way. I'm sorry, okay, I didn't mean it that way. I didn't mean it that way, but that was the one time where it was like, in my case, when I was involved. I know I made a lot of jokes, like dropping, Shaco dropped his toys in the. I was just joking, okay. I'm sorry, if there was anything that was taken the wrong way, all right. I didn't mean it, okay. This is my peace hand. I didn't mean it. I'm sorry. You get two peace hands, all right. Please, if I had an olive branch, I'd put it right here. What's wrong with Azir? He had just came out that day, and we were playing some other mode. I think it wasn't ARAM, but it was the other one. And we were basically on a losing streak. So I suggested it. I don't know. We tried something that worked, but I didn't say it right. Okay, I didn't say it right. I take full responsibility for that. It came out wrong, and I didn't mean it that way. We got a little. It was a little shaky. All right, sorry. I take full responsibility. I didn't mean it that way. I was just like this on the other side of the thing. I didn't mean to do it. No, not 3v3. It was the one where you have Dominion. It was Dominion. I remembered. I just remembered it was Dominion. I'm sorry, 99. I know. I don't even remember what Azir did, but it was the day he came out. That's the day it happened. The day he came out. It was during the day. It takes a bit of effort, but I like him in certain instances. I don't even remember what he did. Yeah, my toys are still somewhere in a jungle covered in butter. Yeah, a lot of things were covered in butter. My Pantheon spear slipped out of my hand. Nidalee. Oh yeah, Nidalee was another champ that I really enjoyed. Nidalee. Just watching people run away and then predicting where they were going to be, and he's just throwing a spear in a random direction, and then you just say you have slain an enemy. That was so satisfying. You cannot believe how big my head swelled when things like that happen. I wasn't. I don't consider myself good. I just like I said, the things that I did worked because the team allowed it to happen, but it definitely went to my head a couple of times. Okay. Twisted Fate tree line. The Dominion event to get all the icons and stuff. Yeah, first day, first match, we lost though. Even I didn't lose my lane. Maybe we should retire. Go and be. No, that's not what I said. I remember exactly what I said. I said maybe you should not pick a Zir. I said it just like that. That was literally verbatim. And then you kind of flipped out. I didn't. I shouldn't have said it that way. I shouldn't have said it at all. Honestly, it was a couple of games. Um, I think you put it was like either the second or third Azir game. We're in between the words you said. Hit him with the guile, yeah. if we had ever had those recordings, we did record some of our games when before Twitch was a thing. I kind of wish we had them, but they were recorded right. I think we could only hear 99's voice on them and not everyone else. They were fun overall, okay, but sometimes they, the jabs went a little too far, okay. That was mostly my fault. I would make fun of the enemy and the allies, but I was just joking, okay. I wasn't serious. I'm sorry. Right. That was kind of the humor that I came back from the military from. Everybody would just rip each other constantly. That's not always something that people are okay with. Okay, I learned my lesson. All right, I learned. All right, I pulled it back. All right, that's just the type of stuff that I was used to. Didn't mean it. Okay, didn't mean it. One Heimerdinger vid still uploaded to the Xfire site. Yeah, I don't know where it's at. I tried to look for that stuff before. I remember a recording of you and Abraham. Always re-roll is here. I was namming her and did her alt wave, and you were DJ Sona. Oh my god, I love that skin. That one and the Christmas skin were my favorite Sona skins. I told you to come over here in the bush. Not like we get some new YouTube content. Jeez, you were like, I don't care. It's just water. Don't you have an instrument that plugs? Yeah, that sounds like something that would be said. That's why I wish we had those games recorded because there was some that I think people would have enjoyed that stuff, but I don't. I like League. I just don't know if I want to play it again because I know it comes with that. Even if we were to return to those days of just playing League and not taking it too seriously, there's still everything else that comes with it. So with playing with other people, just the community is not. It's not a fun time all the time with that community. Even if our team is okay, sometimes I don't know. It's just I don't know if I want to go through that again as much as it's not too bad. Plus there are other games you can probably get that from. Well, I guess not Unite now since they took down your account. I was thinking about trying that. I like me some Ho-Oh. Okay, that's one of my favorite Pokemon. Like I said, I've my story has a theme of a Binu, which is basically what Ho was based off of, which is like a rebirth. It's basically Egypt's version of a phoenix, but it's more about rebirth than fire. I think if I had to kind of describe it, it's not exactly like a phoenix, but it does deal with the whole rebirth thing. That's kind of like a theme in this story here, with these characters. I like that they have so many champs. You can pick someone who fits what you like so well. The character literally wholly embodies you, whether it's the voice or the moves or the skin or the movement. I always like that. It feels like it's you in the game. That game League. The one thing that I like about League, it helped me realize that I'm way more useful as a support than anything. Everybody likes to kill, right? Everybody likes to get all the kills. That's fun. It is fun, but I feel like I'm better suited in support as that. Thanks to that game, and that kind of transferred over to 11 in a way. When I started trying out supports like Corsair and Bard, I feel that I do much better in those more useful jobs than Blue. I like the versatility of Blue. No Blue is really the same unless even if you follow like a cookie cutter meta, you're still not exactly the same as everyone else. But part of that reason that I like supports more now is because of League, playing supports in League. ADC, 77 win rate in the master rank. Yeah, I like I mean, even though at the time I was getting a lot of high kills as a support, but we seem to generally do better with a dedicated support. So I just kept picking support more. We didn't always have a support. Usually we went to ADC or three ADC in a tank or one ADC in a jungler or something like that. Two ADC, a jungler in a tank or no tank. I enjoyed Singe too. That was fun. I'm just remembering champs now. Champs are coming back. The champs that I played for a while. Singe is so tanky, and they always chase him. So easy getting kills as that tank. He's probably the most damaging tank that I've played. Well, him, Nautilus, and Volley Bear before they changed him. You could basically be an ADC with those tanks and tank. Who we got here? Wait, who am I kidding? It's hard to stop. It's hard to stop the ribs. Okay, I still do it from time to time, but I try not to. I try not to do it. Okay, I'm sorry. All right. I still do the ribs. I'm remembering Power World. I don't. I still do the ribs. Okay, I'm sorry. All right. All right. I'm sorry. All right. We're doing it live. Okay, I apologize. I apologize for my transgressions. Yes, it is. It's definitely fine until things get heated. Yeah. All right. We gotta just pull back all the way. Hands across America or wherever we may be. All right. It's gonna be all right. It's gonna be okay. No, I did not. No, I did not. I was half joking. Okay, I'm sorry. All right. I did tear down my house. I'm sorry. All right. All right. Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah, all right. I did. I did. All right. All right. Okay. 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 It's supposed to catch the monsters and subjugate them. Okay. All right. As a group. Wait a minute. I had I had well, we have a mirror, don't we? Yeah, we have a mirror. So do I turn off? Well, I mean, it's been working so far. I don't think I leave symmetry on. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it off. Okay, yeah, I tore it down. Okay, yeah, okay, I did. Sorry. Gather of items, the crafter. I do like ADC sometimes, but I'm not bloodthirsty enough for it to think. I'm too methodical and systematic. I guess we got to plan a surprise. Sorry, party for Tony. Still really hurt after like a decade. Yeah, that's why it's not worth the. It's not worth it. It's not worth all the laughs because it's not. People. It doesn't mean the same for other people. Okay, I'm not a jerk, guys. Okay, at least I try not to be. Maybe I'm a jerk. I don't know, man. What do you want from me? All right, I didn't mean it. I'll do better. I'm gonna do better next time. If there is a next time, I don't know. Maybe it's too much. Maybe it was too much. Tore it down. It's you don't really play that game like Ark. Okay, it's very very communal. All right, I kind of got that, but you don't really need a house. You just don't need a house. Everything's for the pals. Okay, I forgot. It's about the pals. It's all about the pals. Remember, we can follow it. We were all learning ourselves. There's gonna be tons. Yeah, there's gonna be. Yeah, I wonder what the next time's gonna be. What is it gonna be next time? Huh? We'll find out next time. Same bat time, same bat channel. We're I always forget where in front is, and I'm tired of this. I think it's here, isn't it? No, it's not there. Hang on, I gotta find in front again. Okay, it's not in render. Why do I always look there? Every time. Get where it. Yeah, it's okay. Orange Square. Remember that. Orange Square. Once Power Workers 1.0, I'm definitely playing a server again. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna make another character. I didn't like my character. I shouldn't have picked I shouldn't have made that character. I made a better character offline. I like that character more. It's too bad because before that server went down, I got a legendary assault rifle and I was like, I'm about to make this. And then I didn't make it. I didn't get to make it. I was like, oh, too bad. That was the first one and only one to date. I haven't even found that on single player yet. That I found. That's okay. Beavis and Butthead when they were yelling at their plant for not growing. There isn't gonna be a next time. Wow, yeah, that is a like a season one episode. Wow, yeah, that's going way back. Yeah, I remember that episode. I was a kid when that came out. Let's see. Yeah, I guess you. Well, okay. Once we get, yeah, I can kind of see the sub. I think it's subhelix. The subhelix here. That Y shape is there. It's kind of hard to see at this angle, but it's there. And when we bake it, it'll come back. I saw the results. Okay, we were waiting for how all this will turn out. I saw how it's going to turn out on my other mesh. This isn't as important. Just make it nice and neat. That's it. That's all we got to do. Just make it as neat as we can. It should not deform. I'm not. I'm as I've learned more and more about what comes after retopology. I'm learning that um, I don't have to overthink this as much. Okay, I have to keep reminding myself that I don't have to overthink it. We just make it nice and neat, and it should turn out fine from the looks of it. I didn't know you played Pokemon with guns today. LOL. Yeah, that's the reason why I got into it. I was sent an article about that game, the concept of that game before it came out, and I instantly said I'm buying this day one, and I don't regret it. I'm glad that it got the attention that it got, and that we were able to try it out on the server and whatnot. It was everything I thought it would be, a little more actually. And even though they didn't really put everything that they said was going to be in it yet, it's not. But what they had was fine by me. I didn't mind it. It was enough for me. It wasn't $70. It was fine. Pokemon with guns. Yeah, it was, well, I mean, they don't all get guns. They kind of only some of them get guns. But I have the gun. I shot a lot of pals right in the head. And I didn't even care. I shot them. Didn't matter how cute they were. I just shot them. I never overworked them though. They made a point that you could do that, but I never did that. That's the part of the game they need to get better. They need to do better with is the pathing and the bases. That I found 99 since then that yeah, my house did not help, but they were going to do that no matter what. It's terrible. I have a whole base. It's nothing but flat. It's a completely flat circular base with cliffs. They still get stuck. They really need to fix the pathing. That was always very janky. If I had known that beforehand, I never would have built that house in the first place. I should have in hindsight, I should have actually looked up some stuff in that game beforehand, like how the base building does, because yeah, I never would have done it. Noticing when I make a typo, it's not incorrectly spelled word, it's a correctly spelled but different word. Which word actually? Oh, Tony said it today. Okay, got you. We overworked them, tons of broken pathing, and ignored them at Iron Farm base. Yeah, there's no stopping that. The second they unload from memory, they get stuck. Well, they kind of improved that a little bit. They did address that a little bit, but they get stuck and they go hungry. It doesn't matter what you do. It just happens. We thought they were being attacked, but no, they just do it. That's just what comes with going day one on early access games. It did not tackle it with that mindset. You know, it's probably a little over enthusiastic, I guess. Well, Live and learn. Live. Retopology sounds like topography. Close, but they're not quite the same. Those Army Mac skeleton of the ground maps. Yeah, I know what they are. I know what they are, Trig. I know. That was my job at one point. It's knowing that stuff. I actually almost referred to this as topography. I had to look up and make sure. Like, can I use that word for this in this context? No, no, you cannot. Specifically for terrain. That's really it. Making Minecraft maps for real. Yeah, it's just it's broken down like that. But journey map is probably more detailed than your average army map. Unfortunately, I'm sorry to say, unless it's satellite imaging. But even then, if they aren't updated, it can be very frustrating. They cut down the trees. Did you have to remake the map you made? Um, no. You just basically you would put on the map, whatever is different. You say, oh, can't go here. It's kind of like a Final Fantasy 11 map where you just X that. Can't go this way. Got to go around. Like that. The 2006 version, just use it. Yeah, sometimes buildings there that are there that are supposed to be there aren't, or on so or so forth. But there's always some landmark that you can rely on most of the time that it's like, okay, this is still here, so I know I'm going the right way. Especially when you get maps that are so expansive and you're not going to have a a cursor telling you exactly where you are. You have to find that stuff using your surroundings and math and compasses and all that stuff. Um it's not hard to figure out really once you get the hang of it, but when you consider everything else, it's like, okay, we make sure we're going the right way here, all right? We don't want to end up in a place we don't want to be, things like that. That's when it gets kind of a little bit stressful. Because sometimes the map, like I said, the maps aren't up to date, and that can be very troubling. It's like Earthbound. You gotta get money from your dad. You save your game by talking to your dad. His dad's always at work, and he gives you a pep talk when he saves. That's like probably my favorite save mechanic in any game is the one from the first Earthbound, or just Earthbound, I should say. It's probably not the first one. It's Mother 2, Mother 3. I don't remember which one Earthbound was. Two meetings of class and my normal job today. Today's a little extra busy for me. Well, I hope you manage it. Hope you manage it just fine. All right, later 99. Yeah, I'm about to get off. As soon as this ear is done, we're gonna call it, and then I just got this little bit here to do. Uh, we're gonna go into the ear hole here. A wall hole turkey dinner. That sounds like a real thing. I know what you meant. You don't have to correct it. I know what you meant. I can put two and two together. All right, the topology of this ear. I will dissolve some lines before we move away from the head, but I'm not going to do that today. We're going to just cover it up. And because like I said, this is the inner ear. You know, I'm not. There's no scene in the story where we're like right here. All right. So and these aren't gonna move, so it doesn't really matter to me how this look. But we are gonna make it neat. Okay. We gotta try to do better than our last time doing this. It's been another word replacing for the last couple of years of me noticing. It happens, you know. There are some things that I typoed when I was writing my story that I should not have typoed. And you know, I fat finger my keyboard all the time. Even though I don't really have fat fingers, so sometimes, you know, I don't know. I typo. It's basically like the speed. Like I don't have my hands in the correct position, you know, when I type sometimes. So, and I try to, and I'm, you know, the way I type it's kind of fast, so I end up hitting keys by accident. But I try to proofread before I hit send, you know, because sometimes I miss it because it's something like really subtle that you don't really notice right away. I'm like, oh shoot, I just typed that. If I can edit it, I will, but you know, sometimes I miss it. It's gonna be all right. Ain't gonna be no typos in this story though. We're gonna make sure of that. We are definitely. I'm an amateur, but I'm not that much of an amateur. Okay, I'm not gonna show how much of an amateur I am. This is like my first webcomic project. Drew a lot of comics, you know, in school and as a kid, but you know they weren't taken seriously. I didn't really plan them out. I just didn't want to fly. This is whatever came to mind. This is what happens, you know. But I'm really giving this a real go around. Like I'm putting a lot of effort into this, so I want it to look professional, but without it being an actual professional thing. That's my goal. So we'll see how that happens. We'll see how that goes. Okay. That's enough of a hole. We don't have to make an actual hole into his brain. I type furiously. Sometimes I'm like, and it comes out fine. I'm like, okay, cool. And then other times it's, you know, letters are switched around. I hit two keys instead of one. Whoops. I treat it as a state of mind, you know. Some I don't know if I'm like, oh, I just woke up and I happen to be at my computer and I'm still waking up and I was like, and just mess up like my password or whatever. Whoops. All right, so we got our ear. This is our head. The topology is way better than before, but there are still some things we need to work on, of course. I think in a perfect world, all these lines would be more flush with his head and the form of his body, like so, like here. But they're more kind of there's some little crooks here and there. I'll try to adjust them before we move on from this entire project. Like I'll just go around and see if there's anything that I could adjust. I'm just not going to spend too much time on it, but it is better than before. The black lines are going to be mirrored to the other side, then, so you don't have to do the other side too. Right. Um, Using this mirror modifier here, it's mirrored on the x-axis, like so, and it's shrink wrapped to the mesh below it. This is the mirrored side. I only have to do one side, which is the side with the actual has the lines, and it's being mirrored on the other side. This is what it looks like on the other side. It looks more like the underneath portion, but in a much lower polygon count, as you can see here. We got 979 polygons in this face here, as opposed to the 18 million that's underneath. Okay, that's the whole goal. Oops, is basically getting all these high quality, these high poly details onto the low poly. These are I essentially followed tutorials that make these game ready. So you don't want your characters having this much polygons like in a video game, and it is something that I would consider doing down the line one day. You know, I have some ideas for a game, and I already can sculpt well enough to make my own assets and characters and whatnot. All I really have to do is the coding side at this point. So I mean, I'm almost there, and these and I've already tested some of my rigs in Unity, and they seem to work just fine. So um, I guess I could consider these meshes game ready. So I'm using methods that keep the strain on the the game, or this in this program itself low. I'm going to save it so we don't have to do any of that. Yeah, yeah, that's what I keep hearing. I thought that would be the hard part, and I actually have some learning material to learn how to do that. So I mean, really, it's just whenever I feel like it, I can just I should be able to at least start a gaming project, and then maybe one day we'll see some software and gaming development streams. I'll probably design the characters first though, because that's my strong point. I kind of already have some ideas to where I could start there, but that's for a future event, a future stream one day. Anyway, that's the head. I was kidding because I always hear coding is challenging. I've never done it, so I can't speak from experience. Well, yeah, you were kidding, but I keep hearing that it's actually the easy part now. So yeah, all right. Tomorrow we're going to do the edge loops, or not tomorrow. I'm sorry. Monday we're going to come back with another art stream. We're gonna start the body and the arms. Okay. I am going to do another game stream this week. I'm not sure when. I'm thinking about later on, maybe Friday. I don't know. I gotta see. It depends on how I feel. But yeah, we're going to call it here. The advance of technology. Yeah, most likely. Yeah. All right. I want to thank everyone who stopped by today. Yeah, Friday. I'll most likely return on Friday. I kind of want to do another stream tonight, but like I said, if I don't, then maybe some point within the next 3 days, Friday at the latest. Okay. But we will return Monday with more red topology, and I will see you in the next game stream. Okay. Thank you everybody for stopping by. Thank you to those who watched the VOD. At least the art VODs. No one's looking at the game VODs, and that's completely fine. At least not yet, anyway. But I know there's people who really tune in for the art VODs on YouTube.